Panda.
No, Rango, no. Okay, no.
Oi, Panda, see. Jerry. Oi, Ben Bruce. Jerry. 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 Sits. Jerry. Jerry. Sits. Jerry, Ben. Jerry. Sits. 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 Jerry. Sits. Jerry. Sits. Sits. Jerry sits. Sit. Jerry. Sits. Sits. Muy bien, vamos. Oh, that was tough today. It's tough to get the dogs today. Dogs are just like anything, like humans too. They have their moods, their days. Today they seem like they just kind of can't really relax too much. Well, we'll take them for a walk, see what happens. So a lot of people have been asking me about my experience with ayahuasca. And not just ayahuasca, but all psychedelics. I've done many of them, most of them probably now. I think I did mushrooms to start with, but I didn't do it in a good setting. I did it in like a party setting a couple times, which was kind of weird. But then once I really wanted to try to get healthier, I started with ayahuasca, and then I did iboga, which was nuts. I'll get into that on a whole other video because that's like an entire video to itself. Then I did some mushrooms. I did DMT once. I did San Pedro, and I'm probably missing one or two. But I did ayahuasca twice, and it was sort of like my first experience was trying to use it for health, for trying to get better. Yeah, Jerry, yeah. Jerry, Jerry, ven, Jerry, ven, Jerry, Jerry. Ya, vamos. Jerry, ven. All the workers know my dogs now. So, at the time I did ayahuasca for the first time was a couple years ago, and I was in really bad shape. I was like drinking a lot. I was super depressed. I just basically lost everything and got defrauded and constantly attacked on the internet as being the person who actually did it when I totally wasn't. And it was a real hard time for me. But actually, in retrospect, like with all these things, it turns out I needed to go through all that to become stronger for what I'm meant to do, which you're gonna find out soon. I'm on the way there. But yeah, so it really exposed a lot of things I was doing wrong. And one of them was drinking a lot. Another was I was too carefree about a lot of things. I wasn't taking things quite seriously enough. I thought everything was just, whatever. I also really was still worried about what people thought of me. So I got over all that over the last few years. Now I don't care what anyone says. So I fixed that, and I'm gonna need that the more I do the stuff I'm gonna be doing. So I thought, because I was really I was quite suicidal. I was drinking like every day because I couldn't go through the day because it was too painful to hear about not only how many people got hurt because of things I was involved in, but getting blamed for it even though I didn't do anything, and certainly didn't have the intention to do anything. Someone else did, and I was too stupid to see that he was that way. I knew he was a total idiot, but I thought I could have him under control because he had some value, some use. No, and because I was drinking so much, I couldn't see how he had stolen pretty much everything before I could even stop him. And then once it was gone, it was just gone. So anyway, I was like, I got to do something. It was either kill myself or get better. I'm still here, so you know which choice I chose. And I looked and I was like, I love my dogs, I love my family. You know, I think it'd be pretty bad for them if I was just gone. So that was really the deciding factor. And I heard about ayahuasca, and you know, just like a lot of people, like people watching this right now probably, who had never done it, I was like full of questions about it. I'm not sure about it. Sounds weird. And I found one in Mexico. It's something called Ayahuasca Mexico. They do like 3 or 4 a month in different cities around Mexico. That one, the first one I went to was in Monterrey, Mexico, so I flew there. Got off the plane, showed up at the house, and it was in a house, so it was definitely not your Peruvian style in the jungle sort of thing. It was in a house, and it was a really crappy house, and it was packed with people. They were just sitting side by side. It was really not a great place for my first experience. But I knew I needed to do something. I couldn't find the answer. I knew I needed to be shocked out of what I was feeling. So I knew it had to be something serious. You know, psychedelics like ayahuasca sounded like what could sort of snap me out of everything that was going on with me at that moment in time. So I took it, and didn't really feel anything for like an hour, and then I started seeing like lights and stuff, but not very much. It was really light, and it felt okay, and I just saw some lights and stuff, and it looked kind of pretty, but that was about it. And then, and this is not normal, by the way, like most people have different experiences. Actually, everyone has a different experience on ayahuasca, so that's why even watching some of these is kind of pointless, because you're going to have a totally different experience. However, some people do want to hear all the different experiences, so they have some sort of idea of what is possible. With me, as soon as those lights were over, and that was like 5 or 10 minutes, it just went dark, and I was all of a sudden almost paralyzed. Excuse me. And I think it was all my stress and my fears, you know, fear of people hating me and all those sort of things. It was all in my body, and it all kind of like froze, and I was just frozen for like hours. I suppose I could have moved if I really focused on it, but I was just sort of like in this state where I couldn't really focus. Missing one dog. Where's Jerry? Maybe we'll go back. Lots of construction going on. They're putting in those metal planks over there. That's pretty cool. That's going to be a big house. If it's a house, it looks like it could be an apartment building or something. So much development here in Mexico. The economy is just booming. People have no idea. This area, there's billionaires investing billions into Acapulco right now because they know the drug war is ending. This place is going to be so wealthy soon. So everyone's getting ready for that. Of course, they won't tell you about that on the news in Mexico, or in the US about Mexico. They'll tell you how dangerous it is. It's actually all kind of on purpose. Even the Mexican billionaire guys, they kind of spread like how dangerous it is, because they want the property and everything to be low priced while they're buying right now. A little inside tip for everyone. But yeah, turn off CNN. If you know, I've been saying that for years. It's kind of funny that a lot of people are waking up to that now. But yeah, turn off the television. It's not real. It's meant to just confuse you, put you in a state of fear, keep you apathetic, and not focusing on what's important. So anyway, I did the ayahuasca, and it was just like, it was like I was in this dark room by myself, frozen. And this felt like it was hours. It actually was hours. It was like 4 or 5 hours like this. It felt even longer though. And I just went and thought about, it felt like very sober. Like I felt like I was sober, but there was nothing I could do. I was just trapped in this, paralyzed in this dark room. So what else am I gonna do? I was just thinking about all the things in my life. And so going back to even childhood, what I did, why did I do this? Basically like a self-analysis, like a super, super deep psychotherapy that may have taken years in normal time, in real life. But with the ayahuasca, you just go and think. It's like the high-speed psychotherapy session. And it was very torturous, and I couldn't move the entire time. So it was like torture. I was just almost like begging for it to stop at one point. I also got mad at ayahuasca. I was like in my head yelling at it like, you're a scam, I'm supposed to see all these great things or whatever. That's what I heard. I didn't see anything. I'm just fucking paralyzed. I think this is a total scam. That's what I was telling it. And finally I just got exhausted. And I guess it sort of felt like I was falling asleep, but I didn't really know it. So I was still thinking I'm in this box, I can't move. And all of a sudden I was so exhausted that my mind stopped working. And I'm just like in this sort of meditative state, almost like a sleep-like state. And all of a sudden I got woken up as like the most angelic voice. It wasn't even like a voice, it wasn't even a sound, but it's kind of weird, like you just sense these things. But it felt like it was an angelic voice, went, let others help you. That's all it said, let others help you. And then as soon as it was done, I was awake, sober. I looked at the clock, it was 4 a.m, we had started around 9 at night. And I just got up and left and walked to the airport, or walked to the taxi and then the airport and went back to Acapulco. And I was actually like, okay, that was such a waste of time. That didn't work. I do feel a little better. I actually felt really good as soon as I left. I was like, yeah, I kind of feel good. I haven't felt good in a long time. But other than that, I was like, but yeah, all this stuff they talk about with ayahuasca is BS. Like I didn't feel any of that stuff. I didn't feel anything. I just remember there's that one thing right at the very end, which could have been a dream because I was so out of it. It said, let others help you. What does that even mean? I didn't know what it meant. Well, I found out what it meant over the next few months because I kept trying to do stuff. I kept pushing my wife away, pushing everyone away who was trying to help me because I was of the mindset that I had to help myself. If I couldn't do it myself, then I wasn't a real man. That's what I thought. And after a while, I got back to drinking again. I was just suicidal again. And my wife came in the room one day and she said, you're drinking too much. You're drinking like every day. This is not good. And look at you, you're depressed every day. And it's because you're drinking so much. Not just because of it, but that's not helping at all. And I said to her, like, it's not like I need to drink, but I wake up and I got a ton of phone calls and emails about how people hate me and how stupid I am and how I'm a fraudster and a scamster. And I just can't take it. And I see that bottle of wine sitting there. There's always a bottle of wine there in the house. I just pour one because it helps to just numb the pain. But I said to her, if there was no alcohol in the house, I don't want to drink so bad that I would go to the store by myself and buy it. It's just like, I'm in pain, it's right there. I'll just grab it if it's right there, because I'm just too weak right now to... Oh, what the hell is this? Was that what's making all that noise at night? Looks like a giant chicken. Big bird. I think that's the birds that make the really loud noise. I've never seen it actually walking. Didn't realize how big they were. Looked like an emu. Not that big, but it's big. So I said to her, can't we just take all the alcohol out of the house? And I actually kind of said it like, not really expecting her to actually respond to it or do anything. And she said, yeah, of course. You know, whatever it takes to help you. And I said, like, I was just like almost in shock. And I was like, really? It's that easy? I just ask? And she said, yes, of course. And then she said, and it was almost as before she said it, this is like what ayahuasca does with you. Before she said it, I knew she was going to say it. All of a sudden I could hear almost like these angels singing. And she goes, and she said almost in the same voice that I heard, let others help you. And I was like, and I thought about it for days, and I wasn't drinking as much after that because there was no alcohol in the house. And I was like, and you know, this actually went on for like a year. It's still to this day, I still don't really let other people help me that much. I still have too much, I guess, pride or maybe stupidity, but I've gotten a lot better. So I will actually ask for help, or I'll let other people help me. So that was like a lesson that I guess I needed to learn. But so that's what told me there was something special about ayahuasca. So after that happened, because I was like, I'm never going to do that again. It was kind of like, I don't know what it really did for me. After that, I was like, wait a sec. Whoa, that's trippy that happened. There's like a premonition or something. So I decided to do it one more time. It was with the same group, but this time in Mexico City, and this time in way better location. It was beside this beautiful lake in Mexico City. Mexico City, a lot of people watch American movies, and they think it's just like this horrible place. There's some incredibly beautiful areas in Mexico City, like glorious. Like there's this big lake no one even knows about, and it's volcanoes. It's beautiful. There's so many beautiful areas in Mexico City. So we're at this private property in a big giant sort of like circus tent with about 30 other people right beside this lake. So I did ayahuasca again. This time I wasn't fully paralyzed, so I could move around. I actually went outside quite often throughout the night and just thought. And all these thoughts were coming to me. Trying to think if I can remember. There was a message that time with ayahuasca too. And I remember what it was at the time. I don't know if I quite remember it right now. Let me think for just a couple seconds. It was about something about... actually, I don't remember exactly. Might come back to me, but... It was something kind of important. But it was really just another night of psychotherapy, but this time much less torturous. It was still difficult because you're analyzing everything in your life for like hours and hours. And I got out of it and I was like, okay, that felt pretty good. Oh yeah, so afterwards, I kept taking more and more because I wasn't getting what most people get from it. A lot of people have this amazing experience where they go into like other dimensions and talk with all these different beings, and I've never even come close to that, including on that time. So I kept taking more and more. I'm like, maybe I'm not taking enough. And no, I couldn't get to anything like that. Nothing. I had no vision, nothing. I was just in this sort of psychotherapy for like 8 hours or 6 hours. So afterwards, because of my first lesson, ask others for help, I wouldn't have normally done this, but I went to the shaman to ask him for a little bit of help, like some advice. And we're talking, and he was like, oh, he said, I see what you have. And I said, what? He said, you got a massive block in your heart. It's like you can't feel emotions, you've blocked yourself off so much that nothing can even come close to getting inside of you, including the ayahuasca. Which makes a lot of sense, and actually I know that to be true now from everything else I've been doing. And I've been getting better at it, actually. It'd be kind of interesting to try ayahuasca now that I've learned to start to open that up. But that's what I learned from that experience with ayahuasca. So it was very helpful. And I came away from it feeling better. So I drank less, I was feeling a little less suicidal, feeling a little better. So definitely ayahuasca helped. at that time. I'll go into later how I fell back into my depression again, and how I decided to do iboga because I decided ayahuasca wasn't strong enough. I'll tell you all about that because that's what really was the first wow moment of change for me. I'll tell you that maybe in the next video or in an upcoming video, because that's a whole other thing to itself, believe me. So everyone's got different views on ayahuasca. Some people think it's the most amazing medicinal plant ever. Many people think that. I've had people like Macy Tomlin on, who believes that Luis Fernando Mises is a huge ayahuasca and all psychedelic proponent. Many people I know think it's just incredible plant medicine, and I would generally agree with them. Some people think it's really dangerous. That part I don't get. But what I have learned is, because I got involved with Barry Cooper, who's nuts, but he wanted to do like he has a thing where you don't need shamans for ayahuasca. I don't think that's true. I think there is a lot of, I think you are connecting with the spirit world to some extent. I haven't quite done it, and I'm actually not that interested in doing it, so maybe I've almost subconsciously made a choice not to do that. I was just looking for healing, right? And I received it. So it's like a lot of this stuff, your intention is what you get. So you have to set your intention. My intention was, I need help. I need something to snap me out of what I'm in right now. And it did that for me. But yeah, I think you really do need the shamans. There is a spiritual thing. I think all kinds of energies can come into you at that moment in time, because you're kind of like piercing the veil, so to speak. Some people are, at least. And I think just like anything, this is my personal thoughts, I don't know, but I think just like anything, it could probably be used for good or for bad, and some people probably go down the wrong path with it, and maybe even not knowing. So you got to be careful. You should read up on this stuff. You should get to know some people who do it, get to know a shaman, and feel like you know if you trust them or not. You know, that's, you know, we're actually built in with these instincts. We've been mostly had them driven out through fluoride and vaccines and all this kind of stuff in government indoctrination camps to not use our instincts, but our instincts are incredibly good. And so just go with your instincts. And if they tell you that, okay, this shaman's good, this place is good, I feel comfortable here, then do it. But, you know, be careful with it. It's not something to play around with at all. Yeah, I've heard some people have committed suicide afterwards, but you know, a lot of people go and do ayahuasca who are way worse than I was. So you're gonna have a few people who, even afterwards, try to kill themselves. They, you know, you can't have like a ego death sort of experience. All kinds of stuff can happen for sure. So you have to be careful. Like I said, just first of all, don't do it unless you absolutely feel like this thing is calling you. That's how I was feeling when I did it. I was looking at all the potential solutions to my problems, and I kept coming back to ayahuasca. Again, listen to your instincts. The universe will actually send things to you. When the student is ready to listen, it will provide the teacher. Just be open to that. And I was. And so if that's what you're feeling, if you're feeling like I gotta do ayahuasca for whatever reason, it could be I just want to get more spiritually connected. It could be you're like me, have some problems, and you're like, I gotta get them fixed. Maybe it's PTSD. I hear ayahuasca is quite good for that. Maybe it's other kinds of trauma. I hear it's good for that. Depression, obviously, helped me to some extent, not completely. All right, we're down to 2 dogs now. Oh, there's Rango, there's Bruce, there's Lucy. So we need Jerry and Rango. Jerry's been missing for a while, so we'll find out where he is. This DJI Osmo camera is great, by the way. I totally know how to use it now. Yeah. Isn't this great? Like no bouncing. I'm gonna get a drone soon, which is DJI as well. So that's gonna be pretty cool. There's gonna be some pretty cool views. Anyway, that's off topic. There's Lara. Oh no, Rango. There's Rango. Who am I missing? Yeah, Jerry. Where's Jerry? Jerry got scared again. Anyway, so yeah, only if you feel like it's calling you should you do it. That's like for sure. And just be careful about it. We do have one, just so people know, every year at Anarchapulco with the same shaman, who's one of the top shamans in Mexico. And actually, the guy who I met him when I was doing Iboga. He was one of the like 5 people looking over me, because Iboga, that's crazy. You need like medical staff looking over you when you're doing it, and shamans and all this kind of stuff. And he's actually got an amazing story. When he was like a baby, him and his family were walking, and the entire family got hit by lightning, and his entire family died except for him, the baby. And apparently in Mexico, amongst shamanic type people, this is like a huge sign if that happens. So he's been respected as one of the top shamans in Mexico ever since, even when he was like a baby. And he is a special person. I've been with him during Iboga. I've talked to him, of course, about the ayahuasca stuff. He's come to my house and gave me DMT once. He's special. He's one of these, he's not your regular person at all. And you can just tell he's got a lot of spirit inside of him. And he really believes it's his role to heal as many people as possible while he's here. And that's what he does. And that's why he's so happy to do it at Anarchapulco, especially amongst our crew. The first year he was worried about it, because he had no idea who we were or anything. And he had such a good experience with our crew of people that he was so happy when we invited him back last year. And then he had such a good experience this year in 2017 that we talked, and he's super excited. He wants to do more than just one day this coming in 2018. It'll be February 15th to 18th is Anarchapulco. But I think from February 10th to 14th, we're gonna have like a healing, ayahuasca, San Pedro, all kinds of health healing related things. And he'll be very involved in that. And he's thrilled to be a part of it, because he said, you know, a lot of the people who are at your conference are world changers. So if I can help to heal them even more than what they are, so that they can get this message of peace and love and anarchy out there, then we can all improve the world dramatically. That's really what he wants to do. So if you do want to do it, that would be a great time to do it. I had no plan to start this and make this an ad for Anarchapulco or anything, but you're going to be 50 or so, or even more, anarchists. So if you're an anarchist, you'd be amongst like-minded people who believe in peace and love and non-aggression. And every year, we've done it 2 years now. This will be the 3rd. Every single person I've talked to, there might be 1 or 2 who didn't enjoy it, but I haven't talked to them. Every single person I talked to said it changed their life. That's pretty huge. Erica Harris is one of them. Macy Tomlin, she'd never done it before, and she changed her whole life. She's now been in Peru. She told me she lost like 20 pounds since she's been there, and she was a rake when she left, so I don't even know if I want to see her. She's coming back in a few days to Acapulco. But she's been basically just fasting and doing ayahuasca for months. She wants to become a shaman. And that all happened in Acapulco. So yeah, you can see how this stuff can potentially change your life quite a bit. So yeah, check it out if you want to do it. That, you know, I think that's a great sort of starter way to do it, especially because we're going to do more than one day this year. And it's going to be like very serious. Like we're going to have, well, actually the location this year, I didn't go, but I heard it was just amazing. It was on the beach in like a luxurious resort that we rented out for the night for a few $1,000s. So, you know, we weren't scrimping on the expenditures. They had like a harp player on the beach in like this luxurious resort that was all just for the Anarchapulco ayahuasca people. So we'll do something like that again next year, or even better. So, you know, check that out, or check out Peru or places like that. But I have no experience of going there, so I can't tell you. Macy Tomlin, check her out. She goes to one. She says it's excellent. That's more hardcore. Go for like a week. But yeah, if you feel like you really need to do it and you can't wait till February, definitely check out something like that. Of course, in places like the US, it's all illegal. Everything's illegal in the land of the free. And that's because they don't want people to be healthy. They want to destroy, for whatever reason, the people in the US. And they're doing a really good job of it. That's another reason I just say just get out. And I'm going to be interviewing Lily Devine, who's on Steam It, in upcoming Anarchast. And she's going to be talking about how after even in Acapulco, she's going to have like a 1 month sort of very casual event. And there's also even something run by Michael Nimitz. Well, actually, that's his house right there. It's like an anarchist neighborhood I live in. And he does something called Anarchapulco 724 365, I think. Basically meaning they just sort of thing. So check it all out if you want. Come down to Acapulco. We have a group called the Dollar Vigilante Group in Acapulco. There's also an Acapulco group that you have to sort of apply to get into. Lucy, no? Lucy, Ben? So you can check that out and try to get into the Dollar Vigilante group. It's a little bit hidden. Secret group, I think, or at least hidden. Or closed at least, so you have to apply for it. It's called TDV Groups Acapulco. You could probably find it that way. If you really are serious about wanting to move here, there's hundreds of expat anarchist guys on there that can help you, and they're incredibly helpful. Every person I've seen who's moved down, they help them with anything they need. So that's great. Lucy, Ben? So I'm trying to think, is there anything else on ayahuasca to say? There's lots actually, but I think that's a pretty good sort of primer. If you have any questions, put them in the links. I do read a lot of the comments on YouTube and on Steam It. So if you do have questions, I will see them, and I might potentially answer them in an upcoming video. In the meantime, my dogs are ready to go home, so let's go home. Yeah, you dogs don't need ayahuasca, do you? No. We just need to eat, sleep, go for walks, and meditate all day. That's all we need to do. What's wrong with those humans? They think too much, don't they? Yeah, they think too much. Muy bien, Lara. Muy bien, Rango. Muy bien, Lucy. Y muy bien, Bruce.